This is my favorite part of budgeting. This part tells me if I actually accomplish every goal that I wanted to do, such as meeting my financial goals as well as staying on task with my bills. This is a time consuming process, but it is definitely worth it. If you're new to this channel, I'm Dee, so welcome, welcome. This channel is about finances, motherhood, being single, and everything that comes in between. As you can see, again, we're doing our monthly budget overview where we talk about our finances for August. Okay, we're going to just go ahead and move that sheet out of the way. I actually start with my August monthly budget overview sheet. This is the one that you've seen previous. This is the one that actually starts my budget, and it's important that it's included when closing out my budget. This sheet has information such as my financial goals, my high-level overview of my income, as well as the expenses expected to come out of my account. I use this particular sheet to determine exactly what expenses has cleared my account by placing a check in there. If there's an X, such as where it has the medicine, that just indicates that either it didn't clear the account before closeout, or I did not have to allocate any money towards this particular item. Additionally, with the sheet, I also want to keep in mind of the many things such as my financial goals, because that also plays a big part in my monthly review as well. So I always just keep this sheet out in order to reference when I'm actually going through each item. Okay, let's go ahead and move that out the way. Now we move to our transaction log. This is simply a record of all the transactions that we have occurred for the month in our unbudgeted category. This transaction log also helps me indicate if my unbudgeted spending could have actually been classified in my envelope system and I just forgot to put that information there. Additionally, it also lets me know about the true unbudgeted items such as the property tax that I received. Now, I did purchase some property in my hometown and I hadn't received any communication from them until the week of the 24th, and that was the tax bill that was due on the 31st. So I went ahead and paid that out of the unbudgeted and decided that I will indicate a category for this particular transaction going forward to keep up with the bill. So let's go ahead and we're going to move that up. Next, we're going to go to the spending tracker. I'm just going to move a couple things to the side. And we already did our mid-month, which was week 1 and week 2. Now we need to cover week 3 and week 4. And so for week 3, it's in purple, and week 4 is in yellow. So I'm just gonna make sure we can all see everything. So we should be good to go with that. And so what I do is I go ahead and I look over. Let me just make sure. Yeah, we should be good. You should be able to see it. Is the actual items that I spent for each category. So for fun money, let's see. Let's move that up here. I hope you can see it because it's just a little bit. It's just one transaction, so it should be good. You should be able to see that. So right now I'm just taking and looking at the transactions and matching them up with the categories and placing the total amount in the spent column on my weekly check-in. If you would like to hear a talk through of this process, definitely check out my mid-month where I go step by step so you can hear exactly the madness behind the method that I choose to keep a record of my actual transactions for my cashless envelopes. If you do cashless envelopes, what method have you found to be beneficial with you with keeping a record of your transactions? I find that this, as well as keeping up with my cashless envelope system in my wallet, keeps me on task. So one, I'm not spending outrageously and spending from other categories to compensate for being under budget in other categories. So let's see what we have remaining from week 3 in the fun money category. So 38.24, 0 in gifts. Groceries was $164.95 minus 76.14, so that's 88.81. Then we have 60 minus 50, 78. That's 9.22. Then 121.37 minus 52.96, so that's 68.41. 23.85 minus $8.86, so that's $14.99. So we didn't make any additional deposits in the envelope system categories, so we're just carrying the balance from the week before to the budgeted. So we started week 4 with 38.24. Because I only deposit every other week, it's very important that when I do make these deposits that I'm stretching that deposit out for the full 2 weeks. So I try my best to put a amount that I do not want to spend over in each week to ensure that I have some remaining just in case something comes up in that category the following week. So simply, I'm just going through and checking out the transactions with the same method that I've done before for the following week. And this is a very important step. And something you do not see at this current time is that I've looked over my cash list envelopes and determined what's left in each category. Plus, I've also matched that with the total amount that is actually left into my cash list envelope spending account. So this is why it's very important that I walk myself step by step to make sure I'm recording every transaction. Let's see what I have remaining in this particular account. So $68.06. And so like we can go ahead and slide that here because we won't need that for right now. So what I do is I always want to verify that this amount is actually in the account. So I always have a little sticky here. It tells me I have a balance of my envelope system account and it shows 68.06. So we good to go with that. So let's go ahead and move that up for right now. Let's work on our sinking funds. Now, we already did week 1 and 2 in the mid-month, so now we're just going to work on week 3 and week 4. So in week 3, sinking funds is very important for me in my budget because I find that these categories that I've selected often bust my budget before I even get well into the month. So as you can see, for the month of August, we actually filled up every week versus prior months, it was like either every other week or at least once a month. So it does indicate that I am moving the car a lot more than I had been in the past month. So let's go and see how that affected what we everything. Have remaining in each category. So we started with $22.82. We added 30. We minus $22.92 week 1. We minus $17.21 week 2. We added 30 week 3, and we minus $20.82 week 3, and we minus $24.11 week 4. So that actually left us with a negative balance of $2.24. Okay, so let's go to car maintenance. We started with $214.01. We added 25. We spent $8.01. We didn't add anything week 2. We added something week 3. We didn't spend anything the remaining month in this category. So we're just going to go ahead and put the remaining balance at $256. Now for Papa's Fun, we started at $500. I didn't make any deposit, but I did make 2 transactions. So that left a balance of $323.05. Now for vacation, we started out with $400. I didn't make any deposits, but I did spent 100, so that left me with $300. I don't know why I keep putting that on when I definitely need to use it. So we have $736.08. In our medical, we spent only $171.66. We did not make any other deposit, nor did we spend anything. So that ended the balance of $564.42. Now for each category, I take the remaining balance and I verify that that amount is actually listed in the accounts. And I do that at the end of my budget. So with the monthly review, we always start off with the income. So the income source number 1 is my net income. Income source number 2 is rollover, and bonus income is any sinking funds or savings that was transferred to this account. So of course I definitely do have my little cheat sheet here, so I know exactly what's going on. So for income, paycheck number 1, it was $1794.09, and paycheck number 2 was $1661.95. So that gave me a total of $3,456.09. Excuse, not 9 cents, 4 cents. 4 cents. Then I did have rollover of 14, and I did pull from my sinking account of 155. So let's add that up to see exactly what I had to work with for the month of August. So that was $3,625.04. Okay, so we're good with this sticky. We're going to put that to the side. So now we're going to go ahead and look at our expenses. See if our budgeted and our spent equal. Now for our fixed expenses, there was only one expense that the amount was different than the actual bill itself, and that was my insurance. Because I budget sometimes prior to I receive notification with some bills, I often may call to the company to ask for the amount, and that was the case of the insurance. That the total was actually just 4 cents less. Okay, now for the variable expenses, there was only one account that was different, and that was the medicine. And that was only because I did not have to get the medicine. Therefore, I did not take that out of my account. So everything else was on point. So we have $782.64, and we're going to just minus the 55. So that's $727.64. Okay, so we need to pull out our envelope system weekly check-in so we can fill out this form here. Now, for fun money, we didn't spend anything week 1 or week 2, but we spent $11.76 week 3 and $32.85 week 4. So that gave us a total of $44.61. For gifts, we didn't spend anything because we didn't put anything in there. Now for groceries, we had $183.10 plus $6.47 plus $76.14 plus $62.52. So they gave us a grand total of $328.23. But we also have to remember we did have a credit of $14.52. So we actually only spent $313.71. Now for household, we spent $40.37 the first week, nothing the second week, $50.78 the third week, and $4.27 the fourth week. So we actually spent $95.42. We did have a credit of 37 cents, so we're just going to move that 37 cents, and we actually spent $95.05. Now for personal, we didn't spend anything week 1. Week 2, we spent $53.63. Week 3, $52.96. And $41.93 week 4. So we actually spent $148.52. Okay. Now for restaurants, we spent 10, 615, 886, and 1004. So we spent $35.05. So let's go ahead and see what we actually spent out of our cashless envelope system here. And this part is so important to me, and I often mess up here, and I spend hours trying to figure out what's going on. So I like to do a check to make sure that the difference between what I budgeted and spent is equal to the $68.06 that we accounted for. So all I do is just take that $636.94 from the 705, and it shows me, and hopefully shows you, $68.06. So what I do is I always want to make sure that I covered that. So I'm going to highlight it a different color. So I do highlight it so I know I checked it. So I just draw a line and say, hey, I checked it. That all checked out. We good to go right there. The savings and sinking funds category is a little bit different. For my monthly budget, I only need to indicate what is actually being sent from my main account to the sinking fund itself, not what I actually spent in that particular account. So that's why I have the save/spent category. Now, if I do spend out of a particular account, I do place a check. If I do not spend, I place an X. That lets me know that I need to reconcile those particular categories to make sure the amount that is indicated on the weekly check-in sheet is actually in that particular account. Now my check-in buffer is a little bit different because the check-in buffer itself is in the spending account, and I'll explain a little bit later how I indicate that. So for gas, I saved $60. Now I put a check under spent because I know I did spend in that account, so I know I need to verify what was the ending balance in that particular account is what is actually reflecting in the account. So car maintenance was $50, and I did spend out of that account, so it follows the same rule. What I find is that what's best for me, and it has taken me a while to get there, is to be consistent, have a consistent method. When I go back and forth, that's where I have the most issues and I just give up. So this method has worked for me in understanding where my money is and where it has gone to. So I did spend on a Papa's account, so I need to check that. Vacation, I didn't put anything in, but I did spend out. Now for the remaining categories, I have a little cheat sheet here, and I definitely need to find another way to keep a count of this other than these different sticky notes, because I go through them a lot. I need to first verify my savings. So in paycheck 1, I sent $50.36. Paycheck 2, I sent $96.70. That was a total of $147.06. I did not spend out of that account, so I put an X. For extra debt payment, I sent $215.18. This is sitting in the savings account. I have not sent this to this particular debt, so I put an X, so I'm well aware that the money is still there. Okay. Now for the check-in buffer is $100. Okay. Each paycheck. So that gave me a total of $200. So of the $200, it says that I have remaining $51.75. So I actually spent $148.25. So for the buffer, I actually put what I spent there. Okay. Now, additionally, what I do is it said that I should have remaining $51.75. I actually checked the spending account, and it says that I have $51.79. So why is there a difference? The difference is, and we can move that out the way, the 4 cents from the insurance is still there. It's still in the spending account. So I need to account for that as money being saved. So I just add the 4 cents, and that's where the $51.79 goes. Now for medical. The medical itself, I did not put anything in there, but I did spend out of the account, so I need to account for that, okay? So the only thing that I actually spent from my actual budget is the $148.25, okay? That's the only thing that left me and has not had any other purpose, okay? So the next thing that I do is, and let me have to redo this part because I did mess up somewhere. So now I need to verify the income. So we have $3,625.04. Now I need to account for the actual expenses total. So 1520.12 plus 727.64 plus 636.94 plus 148.25. So my total expenses was actually $3,032.95. Okay, so what is remaining? So let's see what we have remaining is $592.09. Now, is that $592.09 in my account? No. Then where is it at? So let me tell you how I account for that money. So we know that we had to send money from our spending account to our sinking funds. So the first thing we did is sent 60 to gas, and I'm just going to abbreviate. We sent 50 to car maintenance. We sent $147.06 to savings. We sent $215.18 to our extra debt payment. And then we have the $51.79 that's actually in our buffer. Okay? So we need to see exactly what is left from that. So 592.09 minus 60 minus 50 minus 147.06 minus 215.18 minus 51.79. So that leaves me with 68.06. And that number should look familiar to you because that is actually the remaining for the cash envelopes. So all my money is accounted for. And that's what I like. Okay? You want to make sure that you come up with a system that accounts for every penny. Okay? Additionally, what I do is I have to verify and make sure that everything that's in my sinking funds actually is in those particular accounts. So I have a little sticky here. We love these stickies. So for gas, it's actually going to be 0 because we had to add the $224 from personal. And I took that from personal because it was my fault that we overspent in gas because of my side gig. I didn't account for boosting the amount out of my budgeted amount for this month, okay? Going forward, I will be taking some money from the side gig to go towards this gas fund as well as out of my budgeted. But right now, for gas, it's 0. For car maintenance, when I checked the account, it was $256.04, which only just means that there was at least a interest of 4 cents. Okay, so I still check that out. For Papa's Fund, I ended with $323.05. $323.06 was left in there, so that lets me know there was a penny interest. Now for the vacation, that's actually in cash because I haven't determined where I want to put this. So it says 300, so let's just make sure it's 300. 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83. Okay, so that checks out as well. Put that back in my envelope. Let's go ahead and put that check. Now medical is 564.42 and it shows 564.42. So all the accounts are reconciled. The budget, August budget, is closed out. And let's go here. I need to know, did I meet my goals? Did I save at least $50 for my unbudgeted? Yes, I saved $51.75. Did I pay off or down my 401k loan? Yes, I was able to send an additional $215.18 to my 401k, which will help with decreasing this particular balance. And so I feel good about how my August went. Even though I am expecting a whole bunch of medical bills to come through, I know I should be looking for those soon. So I want to know how your August went. How do you close out your August budget? Any tips? One thing I did notice when doing this is I need to have a better way to account for these different sinking funds and balances. So I just need a different way. I want other than a sticky note. So I definitely did put that in my mental note, as well as I need to look into getting some more erasable ink pens. For some reason, they all went out. But yeah, so as always, if you can go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. If you can, please just share this with your families, friends, and coworkers. And before I go, it's almost time to get these nails done because they are fried. Peace out.